Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage of the 4th season of the NASCAR Class C Maconi Fixed Series. This evening we're excited to bring you top split action for the weekly straight the field race for the virtual Watkins Glen Raceway and Watkins Glen, New York. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including top split for this series, Road to Pro, and Fast Fridays. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name is Justin Prince. Alongside the booth tonight is Braden Laster. DJ Lyons working the controls as our producer this evening as we get set to go left and right in New York State tonight. We'll see who's in a New York state of mind when it comes to this one here tonight, Braden.
Yeah, we're turning left and we are turning right for sure. This fan favorite track here going definitely turn a lot of heads and definitely push these drivers to the limits. Normally the road courses for the C Fixed, see the layout there, no boot, no shoot tonight. Normally the competitiveness isn't up there. You got a lot of really fast guys, but no one really stands out as a fan favorite. Tonight there are a handful of guys that are really, really quick and they're going to put on a great show for us, I'm sure.
It's going to be an interesting night to see how things fare out across the track. Remember, just a couple weeks to go on the schedule before we head things over to the final season of the 2024 rotation of races. Milwaukee Mile and Darlington due up as part of that rotation. It's a tough end to the season if you want to battle for the championship.
Yeah, a lot of drivers came into the night not really in a situation where they can afford a drop week, and unfortunately due to that lower S.O.F the way it works, this might be their drop week. Some drivers they kind of expect to have these road courses. See Mid-Ohio there earlier in the season, they expect these road courses to be their drop week. They're not good at turning right and going fast in the process. So some drivers are looking to get out here and get the seat time, other drivers looking for a win.
How are things looking in the championship? Well, we're starting to see drop weeks getting ready to be factored in here. Hunter East leads the way over Jacob Snyder. Jonathan Tuckness and Jonathan Evans also up there. Hunter East is a bit of a surprise. We haven't seen too much of that name during these broadcasted races, but he's got the advantage by about 25 plus points, Braden.
Yeah, these points are changing throughout the week too. They're changing throughout the day after every single race are updated shortly a bit after. So East, Schneider, and Tuckness are all in a tight points battle. It really depends just what time of the day you look at it and what drops have taken effect. Jeffrey Maconi there in 6th, so we've talked about him the last couple weeks. He was outside of the top 20 a couple weeks ago, and he's had a great string of top 10 runs, I believe 5 or 6 in a row now. So you got Parker, Jabo, Malik Ray also up there, and Joshua Stovall round out your top 10 points. So a lot of good drivers up there.
Still plenty of time to talk things over here. What are your expectations for a road course race like this, knowing especially what happened at Richmond and knowing what could happen tonight in a very quick one?
That quickest name of the game, only 16 laps. This race estimated to be under 20-25 minutes realistically. And a lot of drivers don't expect to get up here. And the best part is Joshua Lawton in the chat just said, I'm in the wrong split. I shouldn't be here. So that tells you the mindset of these guys right here. They're in the live broadcast and top split action. They're going to put on a great show for us. And no cautions either tonight, so that's definitely going to change the game. If you get wrecked, if you get spun, you have no chance to really recover for it, and that's having great pace.
And with that in mind, qualifying has come to a close for tonight's festivities. We'll see who's entered for tonight's race. We had 20 drivers estimated per split for tonight. Your S.O.F 2466 here in this one. So as drivers make their way to the racetrack, let's take a look at your starting grid here tonight. On the pole, it's Jameson Rodriguez. One first time seeing him. Ryan Luza, yes, that Ryan Luza, took part in qualifying and put up a time in second. Zach Novak, another NASCAR driver, alongside Ryan Zimmer. Then Joshua Lafton is starting in fifth. Casey Kostowicz starts in sixth. Cam Johnson and Aaron Riolo starts off eighth. David Stook, and rounding at your top 10 is Sean Cunny.
That top 10 all pretty tight there time-wise. Ronnie, like I said, going to take off from where you said Zachary Wareham there in 11th. Only a couple hundreds off that top 10 starting spot. Jeffrey Bradway 10th off those guys in 12th. Harley Keeble in 13th. Aiden Reed there in 14th. Mark Reed in 15th. I don't know if they're related. They might be. I mean, they qualified pretty close to so they must be. Jeff Maconi there in 16th. He thought he had a great qualifying lap. Spoiler alert, Jeff, you did not. Anthony Sharps in 17th. Chubb Shockley, slowest qualifier of the night, 2 seconds off the next car there in 18th. He's here to have a good time. And then Joe Berge and Seth Lemenger. Only 2 drivers electing out to qualify there in 19th and 20th in the final row by themselves.
That's what touch bottom at the running order here tonight. Of note, Ryan Luza is currently not at the facility. So that's going to be costly, to say the least, after seeing him doing so well in the qualifying session. So as the drivers get themselves ready to go, what are some of your keys to a good race, knowing our Maconi Setup Shop race analysis? Just 16 laps. That's not a lot of time to do the job tonight.
Then no green white checkers, no faster pairs either. So if you get spun, you can pretty much consider your race, at least the odds of winning it. They're going to go down drastically. And a key thing to watch is to go in turn 1 here. There's the rumble strips on the inside and a little bit. There's not really any on the outside until they get deep past turn 1. They're going to see on the outside of your leaders here. So those yellow and orange rumble strips on the outside, you don't want to try to go too far over them. You're going to get off track, and there's plenty of off track opportunities where it's really easy, and you have 17 instant points before you get a penalty. So you don't want to get a penalty. You got to keep it clean. You got to minimize your off tracks.
Who are you keeping an eye on the most tonight, especially knowing it's a hot racetrack, 116 degrees? Who does this favor the most?
I mean, you got to go with Jameson Rodriguez there. Starting first, he's going to have that inside advantage going in the turn 1 on the right side. So it's a very difficult track to pass when you're all so close time-wise. And it's a very quick race. You're not going to have opportunities to really set up past turn 1, though. I think we'll see a couple dive bombs. That's where most of the chaos is going to be tonight.
So we prepare for tonight's festivities with 19 strong, ready to battle it out for just 16 laps. It's been an interesting season so far. We're coming down the home stretch, Braden, and now we'll see how the road course really shuffles things.
Yeah, definitely going to shuffle the points, shuffle the drivers. Some drivers here like Rodriguez try and get their first broadcasted time slot win of the Maconi C Fixed Series. Some drivers making their debut in the broadcasted time slot. The question is who's going to make a name for themselves and who is not.
It's going to be a fun night. We'll see whose fun lasts the most. Happy to have you with us here on iRacing social media platforms and Maconi Entertainment. It's the Maconi Fixed Series S.O.F night. Just about set to go racing. In control at the front of the field is Rodriguez. Able to move up a row as a result of Luza not here tonight. And Ryan Zimmer. All set to go. Pace cars off, green flags out. We're underway from the Glen. And already 3 wide in the heart of the field. Several drivers trying to get a move on, like Joshua Loudon. Lefton able to make contact, though, with Caleb Johnson. They're able to hold on to it, though, as they make their way up the hillside.
That's Aaron Riolo trying to push his way up through the field. That's a push-up reference. Side by side, about to get turned, doing the turning. That's David Snook on his inside through the bus stop 2x2. This is not going to work out well. Riolo on the outside. Snook almost hits the inside wall, able to get single file. And they're going to make it clean and green through the first half so far.
Bit of a dicey moment as the 14 has some moments at the back of the field and Seth Blevins. Everybody else makes their way through the outer loop. Oh, and some spinners. We have Sean Cunning around. Cunning in the 12 truck, looping it around in a very bad spot. No one hit him.
That was just a single car spin, got a little too much on the gas too early, and around he went. Harley Keeble does a great job of getting around him. Meanwhile, leading the first lap, the first circuit on this 2.4-mile layout, give it to Jameson Rodriguez from the pole, and already 1.3 second advantage over Zach Novak.
Let's take a look at some of the replays and see what happened to the 12.
It's gonna be Sean in that bright blue car. Gets on the gas too early, and does a great job of the rest of the field that's behind him as far as not hitting him. So Canine able to get it going straight. Gap to the next car is Jeffrey Bradway, who's down 6 spots in that first lap. It's gonna be a 7-second deficit though.
Already coming around to 14 laps to go, and Rodriguez right now is setting the tone over Novak, 1.2 seconds up. Ryan Zimmer, who moved up to that extra row, not able to take advantage of it, able to at least get to third. Time being the top 3 checking out.
Yeah, definitely. These 3 are going to be the ones to beat. Novak was able to put the pressure on Zima. Zima had the second place advantage until they got to the end of the bus stop and kind of around turn 4 and 5 over there, right past the bus stop, that long right-hander by the chute. Zima just got loose on the gas, same place where we saw Canine spin out actually, and Novak just ate him up and took advantage to get around him. And looks like Novak has no intentions of giving Zima an even opportunity to try and steal a second back.
And not a surprise, knowing you have limited time to get positions. You don't want to bleed those positions. As right now, Lampton still holding on to a top 10 starting spot. Virtually started off in 5th, currently in 6th. And right now seems to be in a good pattern. This is an ebb and flow type of track though. You get into a good rhythm, you're in a good spot. You're in a bad spot if you cut the grass like Johnson though, who has a slowdown.
Caleb Johnson pushing the limits, pushing a little too much, mowing the bus stop, grass are free. Driver we talked about here for a fun time. He's having a fun time indeed. That Chubbs Shockley just moved inside the top 10, started 18th on the second to last row, up to 9th already. Looking inside, David Snook through the second to last corner here. He's going to get that advantage. Johnson up front though, getting loose again, now side by side as well with Joshua Layton. So guys are side by side, they're bumping and banging, they're getting loose and squirrely all over this racetrack.
Shockley nearly 6 seconds back of the race lead. Last time by 1:13.9. The leader's running 1:12. Still contact. Riolo making a bit of hard contact to the side. Taken 3 wide by the field.
Able to get it going, got a little bit loose on the exit of 1. Shockley around the outside, Snook on the inside. Those 2 were side by side for a second as well. Riolo, meanwhile, side by side again. That's Keeble on his inside, going through the bus stop. They're going to sort it out right beforehand. This is one of the longer straightaways on the track, the back stretch, I guess you can call it. Second to only the front stretch along the front. Driver in front of Riolo, that's David Snook. He's starting to blink a little bit, so that's a cause for concern. But Shockley, definitely driver on the move, one of the quickest drivers in the top 10 and on the track in general.
A lot of people driving off the rears though as well, Braden. It's been almost like a slip and slide for a couple drivers. How is that throttle management like to make sure you don't light up these tires in a short span of time?
It's going to be huge. See if we can get the camera shot from turn 1 looking down the front straightaway. That's really going to show that how loose these guys are getting off of off of the final corner there. We had it last time, but I saw the guys in the back of the pack especially just get on the gas way too early and just burning up their rears extremely. And over the course of a long run, I mean, it's going to hurt you. You're not going to have any rear grip, and you're going to be turning great, that's for sure. Just won't be able to carry that speed as much comfortably per se as you'd want to. With it only being 16 lap race, some guys might be able to take advantage of that and make the most of it.
We'll see. Chubb Shockley now up to 7th, by the way. And Chubbs seems to be flying, to say the least. We mentioned his pace. That's quicker than some of those in the top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, Shockley definitely shocking the world and shocking the field. He's ran down a ton of guys. Caleb Johnson next in line riding on board, I believe, with him. And you can see him getting the loosey goosey, for sure one of the more loosey drivers. These drivers, they can use that lack of rear grip to kind of help the fronts out and get around the corners a little bit better. Just got to watch it when they're getting off the corner, especially coming onto a big straightaway like this.
Absolutely, still have about 11 laps to work with. By the way, Rodriguez has held on now to a 2.3 second lead. It's been outright dominant for Rodriguez from the onset. Rodriguez, your highest iRating driver in the field on the road.
Definitely proven his worth. Like I mentioned, over a 2-second advantage over Novak. And Zima, he has a 4-second advantage. Zima in 3rd. So see the gap there through the bus stop. I mean, his last lap is only 6-7 tenths off his best lap. So fall off not a huge deal for Rodriguez.
Not massive, but his gap is pretty massive right now to Novak. Novak, he's been running in the 113s basically this whole race. Just hasn't been able to match the same oomph as Rodriguez.
We're going to take a quick lap riding on board here with Zach Novak. This is going to be their heaviest braking point of the track is turn 1. They're going to decrease over 100 feet in elevation almost from the start-finish line through at turn 1. Then you have the S's coming up. So you want a great exit. Novak doesn't quite get it down to 60 miles an hour, and they're all on the gas here to get those right side tires barely on the curbage here, maximize the track. So not full throttle, but they're on the throttle, up to 130, 140 miles an hour through the S's. At this point, it's hammered down. You're going to be looking at the brake markers on the left side of your cockpit here. You got the flag stand there. You have as well as a 500, 400, 300 marker. 300 is a preference amongst any. Get real tight to the inside wall through the bus stop. Take as much curb as you can get back on the gas as you can. You see these drivers really taking advantage of that curb. They don't want to go too much over, but Novak has plenty of experience here. Around the final couple of corners, this is a low and slow right-hander. Make it wide off the edge, able to build that run. Novak does a great job of that. 150, 160 almost miles an hour. Brake mark on the right side of the screen there. Slow left-hander, presented by another slow right-hander. Little switchback action. That's your 7-ish turn layout, depending on what track map they're looking at. And then hammer down here for Novak. And oh, into the wall from Novak. Rodriguez into the grass, into the wall. Trouble for your leader. This is going to change things. I don't know what happened there, but looks like he had a bit of an issue.
Rodriguez making a mistake, ends up hitting the wall down the middle of the straightaway, and the gap all of a sudden is coming down. So Rodriguez now with significant left side damage. It looks weird.
He just going down the straightaway, gets a normal exit off. We mentioned they're a bit hammered down. It looks like he almost starts daydreaming about this win he was going to get, and just floats off to the left side to scrapes the guardrail the entire way down. And I've heard of guys cooling their tires off that way on road courses, but I don't think that was the intention there.
That was a weird one, a very weird one, and as a result, he only leads now by 2.4 seconds again, but seems to have been able to stabilize the margin rather than lose it. Lots of squabbling once again in the back of the groupings. Chubb Shockley, a little bit close. He wants the spot from David Snook. He snookers him off the track.
That he wants it bad. Now on the outside, Snook's gonna snook him back, shocking each other on the inside. Around both of them goes almost into the pit wall. Joe Berge does and Harley Keeble. These two are not playing nice. More contact. They're going door each other down straight. Another driver at Zachary Wareham try and get these guys pretty wide. This is not going to work out. Shockey and Snook are going to end up in the catch fence or spun out from this.
Yeah, they are not playing clean at all. Chubb Shockley dropped all the way back to 10th, by the way. Not a pretty sequence of events. By the way, Joe Berge drove by all of them to get up to 8th position. That's how aggressive they are starting to fight here. Zachary Wareham talked about aggression on the radio just moments before that. Now is in the mix of it.
Yeah, Berge up there. You see one of the drivers that did not qualify, started 19th, so he's up over 10 spots. Their biggest mover so far of the race, and I mean, took advantage of everyone there not playing nice. Now Shockey's trying to get back up to David Snook, and let me tell you, I don't think this is anywhere near over. Shockey has the speed to go catch up to Snook. I mean, those drivers at last lap lost over 5 seconds. So Shockey and Snook should each be 5th and 6th right now, or 6th and 7th, and instead they're 9th and 10th.
Wow, moments there to say the least. Still 7 laps to go in this race, by the way. Race so far having a bit of a brisk pace, as to be expected here tonight. Chubb Shockley has burned up the rubber. And what can you do at this point if you've had such a forward progression, but now all of a sudden you've just fallen apart here on the tires?
Well, I'll tell you what they can do, and it's not play nice. That's exactly what Chubb Shockley's doing. But at this point, you're along for the ride. Just try to baby as much as you can. As Shockley gets right on the back bumper of Snook, might send him through the grass. He does send him through the grass. Snook comes out in front. Shockley's going to slow down. Shockley's going to use the front bumper. Snook on the outside, still hanging in there, gets a little bit of a run, a little bit of door action. These two are not playing nice at all. Shockley almost in the barrels, and Wareham is going to take advantage and go around both of guys, and then Snook is going to get passed by Anthony Sharp. So this battle, I don't think it's anywhere close to over.
Especially with some of the side-by-sides. Jeff Maconi amongst those in one now. Having a battle with Snook after all that pushing and shoving. And so far, more leaning, more shoving.
And this is not playing nice, absolutely at all. Maconi on the outside, going into turn 1. Give him that 12th spot from Snook. Snook actually about to loop it by himself. Goes through the grass one more time, a little bit for good measure. Still 6 laps to go. Meanwhile, the gap up front, still 2.6 seconds. Jameson Rodriguez over Zach Novak. So that incident earlier hasn't really affected that battle at all. Meanwhile, Casey Kostowicz has caught Ryan Zima within a second for that final podium position.
So coming up to 5 laps to go. Taking a look now as Kostowicz is on the prowl. Last time by for Kostowicz, a 10th quicker than Ryan. And you can see a little bit of the difference right now. That 2 truck not taking as much of the curbing.
That Kostowicz is a driver we've seen all race, not really be aggressive on the rears. He's not getting loose off the corners. And yeah, I might have heard him earlier in the run, but now when it actually matters, 5 laps to go, he's got a lot of speed, a lot better drive off than everyone else. Not using the curbing might also be a factor of that. I mean, looking at lap times, Kostowicz is actually one of the quickest drivers on the track. Only a handful of drivers actually quicker than him.
Absolutely, with less than 5 laps to go. Battles are still on the racetrack like this one. Wareham now trying to make a move. Shockley makes the move. That gets him back up to 9th.
Shockley going to try, gets around Wareham, and now going to try to chase down Joe Berge and Harley Keeble. Both drivers started outside the top 10, 13th and 19th respectively, now running 7th and 8th. And if anyone can do it, it's Chubb Shockley going to shock the world.
So far, it's been a wild one. See if this continues. Let's take a look at Harley Keeble. We haven't talked about his name all day. 13th to 7th for the 5.
They're one of their bigger movers of the race, trying to chase down Aaron Riolo. They're in that 6th spot, so these two drivers, Riolo's had a bit of an exciting race, kind of come down the final stage or so. Keeble slowly but surely moving his way up through the field, and last time by a couple tenths slower than Riolo, so not gonna get the job done. He's gotta find something the remaining laps here if he wants that 6th spot.
Right now, he's getting a little bit of pressure from behind from Joe Burgee. Not too much right now, just has to make sure no mistakes, no trouble. He can come away with a solid spot. There's a look now at them. A little bit of guardrail contact, I believe, that time, maybe for the 5.
It was definitely pretty close. I'm gonna go back and take a double look. It was inches, a little bit to the right rear. Doesn't look like it's gonna hurt him at all, though. And tight there battle with Joe Burgee for that 7th spot. Both these drivers have worked their way through traffic masterfully to get inside the top 10, and they're doing a great job now. Riolo trying to prevent either one of these drivers from catching him. So far, he's doing a great job to finish 6th. Couple of laps to go. Rodriguez 3 to go. 3 seconds is the gap to Novak. So unless something happens, which we've seen plenty happen this race already, Rodriguez is sailing to safety.
Sail away indeed with less than 3 laps to go. The damage hasn't hurt him. He's back up by more than 3 seconds this race.
I'd like to say he's been picture perfect, but there's been a lot of pictures and not many of them have been quite as perfect, but he's been pretty close. Novak, I mean, just doing the best he can. Look at the qualifying difference in Rodriguez and Novak, where you're in your top 3 on qualifying. Rodriguez is 3 tenths quicker than Novak, and Rodriguez is able to carry that through the race as well and build a pretty comfortable lead here coming to 2 laps to go. So a little under 5 miles.
Got more looks at battles. This is again Joe Burgee on the prowl. He's now within a truck lane to be able to try and make something work a little bit more comfortable on braking, but missed the bottom of the corner.
That's not the end of the road. We've seen Kostowicz all day long make the magic happen up there. Speaking of which, Kostowicz now within 3 tenths of Ryan Zima for that final podium position in 3rd. But also, let me tell you who would love a battle between Joe Burgee and Harley Keeble in his final couple miles. That's Chubb Shockley right there within a second half of those 2 drivers. So if they start battling each other, that's going to allow Shockley to move his way up in there and get a piece of the action.
And right now, we'll see if anybody makes a move on in these final spots. Just like Ryan Zima and Kostowicz getting close together here, coming up to the white flag. Speaking of which, Jamison Rodriguez just about there to be able to take it. An outright dominant race for truck number 1 so far tonight.
Started in that 1st spot, coming around the final corner, gonna get the white flag this time. No mistakes. He can basically coast this final lap with a 3-lap advantage and get a little close to that grass. I'm sure already thinking back of that mistake he made a little bit ago. Meanwhile, I see Joshua Lawton trying to steal a piece of the pie as well. He's slowly but surely caught that battle there for 3rd. He's about a 1.5 seconds behind those guys. Kostowicz looking to the inside. I'm sure Lawton's gonna catch up big time this lap though.
On the final lap, who makes up some spots? We'll find out. All lined up so far between Zima and Kostowicz. This kind of speaks for the rhythmatic pattern of the racing today. Unless somebody breaks the rhythm, it's been hard to pass. And right now, looks like your top 3 comfortable. Ryan Zima not able to make any mistakes this time at the bus stop or the benefactor of the 2. But up front, Jamison Rodriguez slid into the grass and hit the wall down the straightaway at one point. Doesn't matter. Coming out of the final corners, Jamison Rodriguez puts on a clinic. Every lap led his way. Jamison Rodriguez gets the win at the Glen.
Zach Novak there slowly but surely by himself, quietly in second. Meanwhile, that battle for third heated up the whole last lap. Zima able to hang on over Casey Kostowicz, Joshua Lawton there in fifth. And the battle is not over. Riello is just now coming around the final corner in sixth. You see Keeble, Bergie, and Shockey all trying to make a desperation move, and no one really able to advance in positions in the final couple of feet there.
A great race, a quick race. Already, drivers celebrating the end of this one. So on that note, we'll take a step aside. Post-race coverage coming up. You're watching Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the Maconi Fixed Series as we close things out in terms of the racing here tonight on the channel as Jameson Rodriguez puts on a show. He wins the race tonight. That was the look at the qualifying, I believe, there. As the big difference, well, first of all, no loser, but second, Novak ends up being 3.2 seconds back. Rides him in third. Kostowicz and Lawton, your top 5. Riello, Keeble, Bergie, Shockley, Wareham finish all in the top 10.
Your non-top 10 finish is going to be Anthony Sharp leading the way up 6 spots from 17th to 11th. Jeffrey Maconi up 4 from 16th to 12th. So top 10 streak over for Jeffrey Maconi. It was good while it lasted. All good things must come in. And then David Snook, well, he snookers his way to 13th place, finishing every single door, quarter panel, and bumper has a dent in it. Along the way, Caleb Johnson in the 14th, and Jeffrey Bradway in 15th. Sean Cuneen has that first lap spin, never recovered from it. He's going to finish 16th on the lead lap, though. Mark Reed in 17th, 2 down. Aiden Reed, 18th, 11 laps down, and Seth Levens in 19th, 11 laps down as well. And then Ryan Luza never saw the green flag.
That's all we talked about him at the running order here tonight in this one. We do have one driver standing alongside. Zach Novak came away in second spot tonight. Zach, how would you describe that race as you come away in second?
Yeah, it was very difficult to drive, which is, always something that I enjoy. So had a good time just, showing up and doing a little bit of practice beforehand and trying to get as comfortable as I could. And then I knew that it'd be kind of just wherever you qualified is where you'd end up. And I just wanted to, get some more track time on road courses and try and learn a little bit there. And I was happy with my pace. Thought my long run was pretty good. Just burned my tires off really bad on the short run. I was just sliding everywhere, so need to work on that. But overall, always fun to come out on Wednesday night and do these, and yeah, it was a good time.
What makes this track so tricky when it comes to the grip levels? It seems tonight a lot of people are slipping and sliding.
Yeah, it's really difficult because the track does have a lot of grip, but at the same time it doesn't. And I know that kind of is contradicting, but you need to, keep the truck as straight as possible and not slide around a lot. But with how much speed you're carrying everywhere, it's really difficult to do that. So to kind of find that balance of, going fast without sliding too much is really huge. And yeah, I think, like I said, I kind of started to figure that out towards the end a little bit, but at the start, I really could not get it under me, and it took me a couple laps.
So overall, though, how to describe things, knowing you also have the balancing act with the eNASCAR Coco iRacing Series that's starting off after a wild one at Michigan for the postseason yesterday.
Yeah, it was a very frustrating race for us. Thought, we had a couple opportunities to really take advantage of some good fortune towards the middle of the race, and then just I don't know, just didn't really play out our way, I guess. But that's just how it goes, and we'll keep plugging along and try and go run well at Texas, and then the final two races, Phoenix and Homestead, are two of my more favorite tracks. So looking forward to having a shot there and see if we can close out the season strong.
Oh, by the way, are you going to be racing Milwaukee Mile next week?
Probably, but I'm not 100% certain yet. But that is a track that I really like. I love the flat tracks, so probably we'll have to make some time to be there.
Thank you very much for your time, Zach.
Thank you, Justin.
Zach Novak coming away in second spot. We also have Jeff Maconi standing alongside. And Jeff is with Braden Lester.
Jeff, the top 10 streak comes to an unfortunate end, but you had all kinds of front row seats to the action throughout the race. Talk us throughout your race and some of the action you saw.
Yeah, it was, first of all, I was going for that top 10. I was 2 seconds out of it, and I am kicking myself over it, but oh well. Yeah, there was definitely a bunch of action. I started 16th. I thought my qualifying lap was great, and then I ended up starting almost dead last. I was very surprised by that. And then from there, it was just mayhem. Someone, I know who, but someone stuffed it middle of 3 wide and shoved a bunch of people out of the way on turn 1, lap 1. And I fell back all the way to dead last, which was, I don't know, maybe like 20th or something, 20th, 22nd. No one was behind me at all, and then just picked up spots. A couple people wrecked, made a couple passes, and the biggest thing was the 11 and the 8 were battling each other very hard, and then the 8 shoved the 11 off the track, and the 11 didn't take kindly to it, and he came back on, and we doored each other a couple times, and I had to get on the radio and say, I know you're mad at him, but I don't take it out on me. I had nothing to do with it. So I managed to hold on, finish 12th, which this week is sort of it's a wash for points. I mean, if you run, there's 10 ovals and 2 road courses, and the 2 road courses are going to be drop weeks unless you have a really, really bad oval week. So what lets us have fun this week, not worry about the points, and that's always enjoyable. And now we got the Milwaukee Mile, which is one of my favorites, and Darlington to round out the season, which is one of my least favorites. So it's going to be interesting.
I'm glad you brought up the points battle. You're in a heated battle for sure there in the top 10. And we brought it up in the pre-race show. A couple weeks ago, you were outside the top 20, and you've slowly moved your way up through a lot of consistent finishes. And this week, obviously, you're expecting it to be a drop. But you have those 2 races left. Talk us through kind of the points battle and the points mentality for that one.
So my goal is 180 points per week. I have a couple weeks that were lower. I've had a couple weeks that were a lot higher. I think like Talladega or Daytona. No, it was Talladega. Whatever super speedway it was. I scored like 225. Michigan, I scored 213. So having those really strong finishes really helps a lot. And so I think I'm like 6th or 8th in points. But realistically, if I can have a good Milwaukee Mile and I mean, I think I can get 200 points at Milwaukee Mile. I think I might be able to get 160 to 180 at Darlington if I have a really good race. Probably going to have to play some strategy there. So basically the last 2 weeks, I'm pretty solidly in the top 5. I'm top 25. I'm comfortable there, but I would love to be top 5 or top 10. So I'm probably going to gamble a lot at Darlington and Milwaukee. I think I can drive my way to a good finish.
Of course. Anybody want to thank and route to your finish here tonight?
Well, as always, thank you to you guys putting on an awesome show. Maconi Entertainment does an incredible job. We're almost booked every single night of the week now. It's crazy how many shows we're doing each and every week. And we got Road to Pro coming up next week. That's always a fun one, and I love watching those broadcasts. So shout out to you guys. Maconi Setup Shop, eNASCAR, iRacing for hosting us, and all the work that we do with Maconi and iRacing is a ton of fun. Victory Sim, Ron the Snack Guy of Brucey Racewear, and now I get to start thanking people because I'm making a real world late model start. So thank you to Blaster Motorsports, 4K Motorsports, Yesteryear Racing, Goat Locker Racing is of course the biggest one. They are a huge supporter. So massive thank you to them. I'm very excited, and yeah, if you are at all interested, I'm going to be making a late model start at Winchester. I am scared out of my mind. I am a mile out of my depth, but it is going to be a ton of fun. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Of course, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Always a pleasure for you putting a great show for us. And hopefully we're talking to maybe a podium championship spot in a couple weeks, but we'll see.
I sure hope so. Thank you, guys.
That's Jeff Maconi. Take the time to speak with us. Like thank him and Zach Novak for doing so here tonight. Next time out, we go racing at the Milwaukee Mile. Short track racing will take place on the network starting on August 21st, should say. 7:15 start yet again. Your thoughts when we go to the Milwaukee Mile, Braden?
Yeah, one of the oldest and flattest tracks in America. I don't really want to call it a short track because it's a mile in length, and then the banking coming in at just 2 degrees. So not a lot of banking and carry around the corners. We talked to a lot of drivers tonight, and about every single one that we're excited for. So it's going to be a great show next week. It really tests your driving abilities as a driver. You can't rely on the banking to get you through the corners, and I think that's why it puts on a great show.
It should be a fun time, to say the very least, when we go there next week. You can join in on the action yourself. Just sign up at the top of the 15 minutes past the hour. You can be able to race in this series. On that note, it's time to get ready to say goodbye. I'd like to thank the race sponsors tonight, Maconi Setup Shop, as well as you, the viewers, for tuning in here on Maconi Entertainment and on iRacing social media platforms. Calling the action tonight was myself, Joseph Prince. Brendan Lester was in the booth. DJ Lyon was our producer. Thanks to our viewers for watching tonight's racing action. I hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Once again, thanks to the entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. It's Jamison Rodriguez who takes the win tonight. Congrats once again to him this evening on 16 of 16 laps led. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.